Hey guys, it's me, Doc Knocking, or as some of you guys know me, Ryan. This is a live stream, so any, you know, mess ups, slip ups, me saying which will happen probably a million times. That's something you gotta expect. And and this isn't a normal video. Ooh, treasure phone. I'm gonna try to not get distracted like I did just there. Today I'm here to talk about something serious that's been going on in, well, two things very serious. And recently in our community, my local community, someone around the age of 17 has committed suicide. And it is a very awkward and weird experience. I didn't know her personally, and but my condolences to everyone who's been suffering from this loss, and it's honestly a terrible thing to go through. I'm also here to talk about my own experiences with suicidal thoughts. Now, I want to put this out here that it's not me trying to look for attention. If anything, that's the last thing I want with this video. I want to, well, I was planning doing this video for a while, you could say. And without further ado, let's get into this. So it all started last year, about a month before. Excuse me. About a month before September, in fact, in the middle of August, I do believe. I went to see my therapist, and I got my antidepressants prescription, raised because I wasn't having bad thoughts. I was just, didn't feel comfortable and didn't feel happy. So I went to my therapist and I said, hey, do you mind raising it up? And they did, but the issue happened when they raised it. They raised it up by a, well, unhealthy amount. Instead of going by 2 or 5, they went by 10. And for anyone who doesn't understand that, it is a dangerous amount to mess with. But starting off, everything was kind of, average, normal. Until an event called Bike Maine. Now, for those of you who are unaware, although I talk about it all the time, I live in America, in exactly the state of Maine. And Maine has a lot of beautiful and scenic places. And Bike Maine is capitalizing on that by, having a tour of northern Maine. Well, not gonna say my personal thoughts on it, because that's just Maine, and I don't want to paint a bad image for it, for I do not want to bring any negative connotations upon the event, or service, or whatever you want to call it. But my school has had a program the year before this where kids would go for a week, get all their community service hours in. They would be setting up tents, taking down tents, and they would be sticking along with, the whole Bike Maine thing for a week. As I said, sleeping in tents, eating the food they're offered, well, eating the food they're provided, more like it, because you don't have much of a choice. But then again, it they do have a wide selection of food there, don't get me wrong. Um, anyways, the issue started at, well, the boiling point happened at Bike Man. Um, so I was there, and I was friends with someone, and I'm not going to name any names out of respect and privacy, but people who know me in real life will probably know very well who I'm talking about. What happened was my brain started overdosing on the medication I was given, and everything just did not make sense. Nothing made any sense. I'd walk around and everything would just feel so different and wrong and not right. I hated it. And in that moment of weakness and confusion, I tried to focus on something I knew would make me happy. And unwisely and inappropriately, well, not inappropriately, this does not take a turn for a very bad, it's just, well, I didn't physically hurt the person. And the house phone's ringing, but I'm gonna ignore it. What happened, though, is I just became so attached, so overbearing, and just... I was someone else. And looking back at it now, I totally understand, but we're not here to talk about that. I just wanted to let you guys know what was going through my mind. It's hard to talk about, and I'm so scatterbrained right now, and I'm also trying to play Minecraft. But let's start where the issue begins. Well, where what I want to talk about comes in. So, second day of Bike Main, we're setting up tents. And I just... my mind, my brain, my everything, I was out of it. I was just out of it. So the teacher sees that I'm not all there, and teacher slash chaperone, let me say, and she tells me to go take 5 and play my ukulele in the van, which I do. Now, this here is where things get awkward and difficult for me to talk about, and if this sort of stuff makes you uncomfortable or upset, I'd recommend you stop watching this now. So, there I am in the back of the van. I play the ukulele a little bit, I write a song, and I tried to find it for, I don't even know why, just, remastery, see if I could make something out of it. Couldn't find it, but that's not what I'm trying to get at. So, what happened, and then I start recording a song, and then at the end of the song, my friend Brady comes in, and I wasn't mad at him, couldn't be mad at him, I was kind of, well, broken at that point. So he walks in, he says, "Oh, I'm just grabbing something," and I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Oh, sorry for interrupting your song," and I tell him what I was doing. He's like, "Oh, sorry for interrupting your song, bud," and I told him it was fine, because it was fine. Anyways, he leaves, and I'm left there. And I try to play the ukulele some more, but that also just does not feel right. It feels wrong. And then I look down at my bag with my personal belongings in there. My bag had my ADHD medication, my antidepressants, and my sleeping medication. In that moment, I looked down at that bag and I thought to myself, if I were to take all these pills, all of this could be over with. All of this confusion, all of this pain, all of this dread, anxiety, fear could all be gone. And it scared me, and I was paralyzed with fear, thankfully. Because I didn't take any of the pills, but I sat there staring at the bag thinking about it. And that still stands to be one of the scariest moments of my life. But I didn't do it. Now, normally people would say, oh, I thought of the loved ones, I thought of myself, how I had potential, but in all honesty, that's not really what I thought of. I thought of, well, I kinda did, but there's more than that. As, you know, the regular old stories go, I thought of myself. I didn't think of myself, actually. I thought of my friends. Thought of Brady, Dawson D-Man, Manzo. Thought of the people back home. And even then, I thought about the people who were also at Bike Main, who I didn't know very well. How would it feel knowing that someone they knew well and were putting up tents with and chumming along with tried to kill himself in the back of a van? How would they felt if they didn't even ask me how I was doing, or... It was... And I had to think of the people setting it up, the teachers, the owners of the vans that we were renting, all of that. Would Bike Main even be able to continue if someone killed themselves? Or at least tried to? And what happened if it didn't work? What would happen to me? Would my parents be mad at me? Sad? Angry? Would I be treated like a child again? That's not what I want. Would they take every little joke I say as serious as a death threat? And that's something I just don't want. I didn't want to cause any pain. I felt as if I already caused enough, and I didn't want to inflict any more. So I put the bag down, and I just moved on. And the rest of the night is kind of a blur because it was so long ago. If my mic's been muted this entire time, no, it hasn't. Sorry, I just felt the need to check. And I didn't. I willed myself not to. But as I said, one of the scariest moments in my life. Okay. And then after that, I was given the I didn't tell any adults while I was there. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want them to be concerned for me. But the next day, I had the option to go home. Leave early. And it was a week-long thing, and I was already there for, like, 2, 3 days, and I struggled with thinking about it because I was doing better the second day. I was actually happy and having fun, but something was just looming over me the entire time. You know that feeling? And I I used my not common. I used my better judgment and I went home. And there I stayed for a couple of days, not wanting to go to school for the rest of the week because, well, I was still suffering from mental breakdown. And my mom was understanding of the first day, also understood this second day, but the third day she said, "Alright, this is the last day. Tomorrow you're going to school." At that point, I wasn't ready for that, so I went out there, I sucked it up, and I told my mom what happened and how I was feeling. And that was one of the best choices I've ever made in my life. She had sympathy for me, and she wanted to help me. She set up an appointment with my therapist. We had my medication, my prescription, ooh, lava, and my prescription, nudged back down to what it was before. And I went on lockdown. So that means in the morning I couldn't be a self-sufficient human being. But it was for the greater good. And I'm thankful that I told my mom. If I didn't, I probably would either still be struggling with those thoughts or wouldn't have made another year. Now, why do I feel the need to tell this story? This super personal story that frankly makes everyone involved, especially me, uncomfortable. Well, it's so other people know that they're not alone. That I know the words I used to describe how I was feeling was very vague, but I can't put it into words how I felt. It was indescribable, really. And I hope what I'm saying can resonate with some of you guys, so you guys know that this is, well, it's not normal, but you're not alone, that you can reach out for help. And I know some people have parents who don't believe in this kind of stuff, and if that's the case, then tell a teacher, tell someone at school, tell your friends' parents, tell anyone. Please. Because after what happened with the person in our community, it made me think, what would have all of this stuff have happened if it was me? If I was the one who, you know, did it? And I don't know if that question will ever be answered or not, but I don't want it to be. It's a sad thing that's happened. And I wish it didn't. I don't know where I'm going with this, man. It made me think about all of this, as stated before, and I wanted to come out with my own story and hopefully raise some awareness that even everyone around you could be hiding something. And it's not a dirty little secret, it's hiding the fact they need help. I'm sorry for having such a negative mood, but just know that this video wasn't made for sympathy or empathy or any of that nonsense. It was made to send a message. I love all of you guys, and I want to see you do amazing. I want to see you guys do just... I want to see you guys prosper. Prosper? Prosper. Sulfur. There we go. And I want to see you guys do well, and... yeah. Just reach out for help. And know that these sort of thoughts are nothing to be ashamed of. It happens to... not everyone, but it happens. Those thoughts aren't who you are. You are who you are. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, man. It's a little uncomfortable. But anyways, that's my story. And thank you guys for listening. I love you all, and as I said, this video is not gonna get any links or any special treatment from me other than, you know, a different description and title that sticks out and whatnot. I'm probably gonna share it to like a handful of people, but other than that, you know, nothing much. This isn't a change in content, by the way. This is a one-time thing. But it's been a year since those thoughts crept into my mind, and I felt the need to do something about it. Yet again, thank you guys so much for all the support and all the love. I've been Ryan, Doc Knocking, and I'll see you for your regularly scheduled programming.